we're in for a treat. You know how this channel focuses on mainly Xbox One games that are installed directly from a disc with no patches and no internet connection at all? One of the main concepts behind this channel is that I want to highlight Xbox One games that I have purchased or rented from the library. I install them directly from a disc. I do not have this console connected to the internet. So if you are watching a video on this channel, it is a game that is being installed directly onto a unit with no internet connection. So say if you're in the military or you're, say, away from your house and you're in a place where you don't have an internet connection, the idea is that these games will install and run with no problem. 99% of the time, that's not a problem. I've even played games like Homefront Revolution with no issues whatsoever. Now, the AI sucked and there were performance issues, but the game was generally playable. This is going to be a warning video, because if you've seen Digital Foundry, they did a video about this 2 years ago, back in 2016, where they said, this is the worst game we have ever tested in the modern era. The performance on this game is comparable to a Nintendo 64 game, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. This is a game that I purchased from GameStop. This is the disc, no patches. The game has been patched since then. I'll just make that very clear. So if you own this game, you need to get on the internet as soon as possible and get it patched. But if you're unlucky enough to have purchased this game and installed it at a pawn shop or a retro store and you got it on disc and you don't have an internet connection, if you're watching this video in the future and you don't have an internet connection in your house, or you have an Xbox One and you can't get the internet connection to install it, this is how the game's going to play. We'll just be Dragon. We'll be the Savage Dragon. I already did a video earlier where I created a separate character. We'll probably play that video later. I don't know. We'll find out. Now, what you're going to see right now is the game's first main problem, which is, before the patch, the loading screens were terrible. Digital Foundry's video confirms that some of the loading screens for these videos are several minutes long. By the way, this is a base Xbox One hardware that I'm using right here. Again, I've installed the firmware. I believe the 2018 firmware, which allows DVR recording onto a USB drive. That's how I'm capturing this footage, by the way. This footage might skip a few frames. We'll see how it goes. I'd be the first person to admit that one of the problems I've had with this console since the firmware update... Actually, I want to say this console had a problem before the firmware update. The DVR will skip frames. Even if I'm not using the... Even if I'm not using the USB drive. If I capture directly onto the internal console hard drive, it will skip frames. I have recorded several videos in the past where there were no skip frames. It was just one straight 15-20 minute recording with no issues whatsoever. I did a Shadow of War recording a few days ago where all the footage was captured without a single hitched frame. The audio was pristine. There was no hitching whatsoever. All I had to do was synchronize the audio with the video once at the beginning of the video, and it worked just fine. Same deal with my DVD recorder. I record footage, and I don't skip a single frame. It's the most reliable capturing method I have. But look at this. The facial text, the textures haven't finished loading yet. See, there you go. So now you can see everyone's faces there. You saw the woman's face over there on the right. I played as the woman last time. I guess I'll play as the man this time. If you want to see me play as the female dragon, watch my video without the commentary. Play as male dragon. We'll do this. Apparently they all operate the same. They just have different voice actors. The dialogue is, well, it's a mixed bag. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, we'll skip this. I can't skip this. Wow, I pressed the B button to skip, and I can't skip. Oh, there, I have to use. Sorry, I have to use the D-pad. I'm sorry. Never mind. I tried to use the stick and it wouldn't let me skip. Now, the resolution on this game. Whoop! You're starting to see the problem right here. The resolution on this game is actually pretty good. It's 1080p right on the disc. Unfortunately, as soon as the game starts to move in real time, you'll start to see this problem laid bare. The frame rate here is pretty bad. It's around maybe 20 FPS. Once the game starts, it's gonna stay somewhere between 15 and 20 frames per second. There's going to be stuttering constantly, and the game's going to be incredibly hard to control. Again, you do not need a frame capturing device. You do not need a frame counting device to figure out what's going on here. Eventually, the problem's going to be made very clear. I can't skip this, by the way. Okay, I'm looking around. Look at this, see? I'm trying to look around. See how bad, see that motion blur over there? And there's a lot of screen tearing, apparently. Wow. And for someone like me to notice it, that's saying something. Apparently the screen is always tearing on the top. The top half of the screen is always tearing. But all of this blur that you're seeing is all. This is how the game runs right off the disc with no patches. See what I'm talking about? Now it's gonna get worse once you start moving around. So Skyrim on the PS3 runs better than this game. I mean, look at this, it's like a slideshow. See this? I'm just rotating the camera. The game's making us do the walk and talk. This is how the game moves. Again, Skyrim on the PS3 runs better than this game. There are N64 games that probably run better than this game. In fact, this probably runs about as well as GoldenEye in the jungle level. If you remember that, that game was in the single digits when you were. Remember GoldenEye when you got to the jungle level? The game was in the single digits. Try playing Perfect Dark in deathmatch mode with like 4 AI bots. It's like 10 frames a second. That's how bad this is. Now, the resolution's high, and that's good to know. Again, the game's at 1080p. But it's saying a lot, because remember, a lot of Xbox One games weren't 1080p back in the day. So this is a very ambitious idea. Apparently this game runs on the Crytek engine, which was notorious back in the day because... In fact, it might still be a little bit notorious because on consoles, a lot of developers weren't getting very good performance with the Crytek engine. And Homefront Revolution was one of the major problems with that. Apparently they got really ambitious. They had a lot of visual effects, like these lighting effects you're seeing. But the games ran like crap. They ran at like 20 frames a second usually. 25 frames a second at most in a game like Homefront Revolution. Framerate was never stable. And for regular gamers like me, the real issue is that you're moving around and you have to account for the fact that the controls aren't very smooth. That's the main problem for people like us. You know, people who don't count frames, but we're playing a game when we realize that it's really kind of laggy and it's really kind of sloppy, very blurry. And again, it stutters a lot, things like that. Stuff that we would notice because if we grew up playing N64 games, yeah, there's a lot of that happening. Not in a game like Mario 64, really, but definitely in some of the more ambitious games. Maybe a Zelda game would have that problem. Ocarina of Time, I want to say, definitely had that problem. Majora's Mask did, as I recall. But obviously the Rare games did. Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye 64, they all had that problem. I can't skip any of this, can I? No, I can't. Okay, I pressed the start button. I guess there's a lag on the start button, too. Oh, wait. Let me leave this journal. Close. Because I don't really have any choice here. Alright. Okay, so now I can start the game. Yeah. Start. Options. Tutorials. Okay, we'll move around a bit. In fact, let's move around a bit so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Options. Resume. There's no other audio cue. Okay, see, I'm just standing still. Not a great frame rate, huh? Hold the A button to activate, but I'm not going to do anything while I'm here. I can't fast travel yet. Close. Okay, so I'm just moving around, see? Now I get to move. Now I get to play the game. This is how the game looks. This is how the game runs. Like this is how the game was released. If you bought the game at a store, you know, new, unwrapped it, this is how the game ran. In fact, if you bought the game on day one, on launch, this is how the game ran. There was no patch. Eventually the game was patched. Like I said, the game eventually got fixed. What happened was, according to Digital Foundry, what the developers did is that they lowered the resolution from the current 1080p, you know, the widescreen 1080p, and they reduced it to 900p. I don't know if that's all they did, but the frame rate is much better now. It's like the frame gets like 30 FPS. But like I said, this game, Skyrim on the PS3 runs better than this game. Now we're gonna get into some combat in a second, but again, this is just moving around. This game looks like I'm playing it on a laptop. Okay, here we go. So here's the tutorial videos. Look at the frame rate. Look at the frame rate on the tutorial videos. It's probably got to be at least 30 FPS. So the videos actually run. I mean, these are pre-rendered videos, obviously. It's the catch. But now we're going to start moving again. See? This is how the game actually runs. So this isn't the DVR that's messing it up. This is how the game actually runs. Oh, wait, okay, here's our target. Hold down the RT button, the right trigger, and unleash. Okay, we can also press that a few times for a regular shot. Or we can hold the button down. Wait, did I get him? Yeah, I think I got him. It's kind of hard to aim. The frame rate doesn't help. You can barely see. Look how dark this game is. Apparently, this game is actually brighter on the PS4, which is weird. I don't. Why is the game so freaking dark? I mean, you have to. I think you have to brighten it. Just a second. Options. Sound controls. I can't adjust the visuals, can I? Nope. Sound. Nope. Controls. Nope. Can't adjust the visuals. Probably, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to increase the brightness. How did this game pass QA? Well, I say that having played Fallout New Vegas, so I think we know what happened there. There's QA, and QA says, okay, the game didn't crash, so I guess it passed QA. Whoops, one more shot. There we go. Now he's down. Again, this game looks like Turok. This game looks like Turok the Dinosaur Hunter with the RAM expansion pack in high res mode. That's how this game looks, as far as the frame rate goes. Now, a lot of people will say, you know, we didn't care back then. We probably didn't. We probably don't care as much now. We probably don't care that much for it now, but let's be honest. If you bought this game for $60 or $40 or whatever, and it ran like this, how would you react in the year 2016? Time your LT block perfectly to galvanize. Okay. 100% damage reduction and an AoE attack. Let me check that out for a second. Blocking. A. Play. Okay, let me see what that was about again. Because I remember this from my initial playing session. Hold to block. It's like a ward spell in Skyrim. In fact, this entire game is basically like... I play as a Battlemage in Skyrim. This is basically what that game would be like for just a corridor shooter. 100% damage reduction and critical Nova spell cast. So it's a counter spell. If you time your block perfectly, you reflect all the damage into an AoE attack. Now, the timing on that's probably going to be kind of finicky because of the frame rate being so bad. But I was able to do it a couple of times when I played the game earlier. Make sure I'm going the right direction. God, this frame rate's horrible. Imagine how bad it's going to be when I get a couple of combatants with me. I mean, what if they just released the frame rate to like what if they just reduced the resolution to like 900? I gotta time this. There it is. See, I get it. I did the block. So I pressed the right trigger with perfect timing, and I got that block, and I got that AoE attack. So the game wanted me to do that, actually. In fact, I can't use the right trigger right now because the game's forcing me to learn the blocking system with the left trigger. And that's fine. You say so. This game gets a lot more complicated, by the way, but I'm obviously not going to play much more of this till I get the PC version. Come on. Whoop! Those guys. Hit me. There we go. So I got that block I wanted. So this game is basically Hexen with no 6 degrees of freedom, huh? Oh, I have to use my block here. See? So I couldn't use my regular fireball. I needed to use my block. Fair enough. So I'm still using the block. Okay. Oh, this is pretty awesome right here. AoE attacks. I mean, this game runs perfectly fine on PC, I've been told, so I might as well just play that version. It probably costs like $3. Of course, this game cost $5 when I bought it, but again, unless you can go online and download the patch, it's unplayable. Hold down both triggers, aim that, and unleash. I think I missed. There we go. Whoop, I missed. Had to point down to make sure I got it off. Okay, see, you have to hold down both triggers to get that. And then once they're in the area, you can unleash it. It's like a grenade. Again, this game has a lot of interesting ideas, but I mean, you can't play. The game's barely playable in this state. Again, I have an N64, so I know how bad things can get. But I'm not playing those types of games right now. Like, I'm not playing GoldenEye right now. In fact, I have Perfect Dark on this Xbox One. I might as well just play that. So I guess what I will do is I'll do a video of Perfect Dark, just a research video, and show you that. Because I know that game runs better on the Xbox than it did on the original console. I mean, I'll get to play more N64 games later, but this is what we're dealing with right now. New sigil. This might be all I want to show you, but let me, yes, the game's going to force me to get ice. But you see what I'm talking about, right? This game looks interesting, but this is how the game runs. This is ridiculous. Wait, where's that guy? There he is. Okay, he's going to kill me, it's for the record. I want to say he's supposed to kill me. AoE attack. Did I miss him? I think I missed him. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to die. The game's supposed to teach me how to die here. Aim. Fire. I don't think I hit him. I don't think I'm doing any damage to him, really. Whoops. Bad aim. Whoops. He killed me. Like I said, he was supposed to die. Okay. See, I learned. Oh, come on. There's got to be more to it than that. Let's see. YBX for sigil selection. So you can choose between lightning, fire, and ice. But no wind and no heart. That's okay. So we got 3 of the Planeteer's powers here. I guess that's fine. Just a second. AoE. Huh. I thought I completely missed him. Here's another guy over there. Yeah, the game seems to look good. It just doesn't run well. Thus proving that if you lower your frame rate, if you lower your resolution, you can probably get better frame rate just in general. Part of me kind of wishes that Just Cause 3 would have done this. Like, imagine if Just Cause 3 ran at 720p instead of, 900p. Probably get better performance. But some people completely choke on that idea. AoE. That's a pretty low frame rate, dude. Well, there's someone else here. Just a second. Oh, there he is. Okay, that guy went down. AoE. Got those 2 skeletons. More coming. Yeah, see, all this is fine. Like, I'm willing to play more of this game. Whoops. AoE. Yeah, I'm willing to play more of this game. This seems kind of interesting. But again, see the frame rate? That's how bad. Like I said, it's a freaking slideshow. People are like going to sneak up on you because you can barely keep track of the action that's on screen. Again, look at that. Look at those visual effects. I mean, very interesting visual effects. The resolution's fine. The art's fine. It's just the game doesn't run. Which reminds me, isn't that Shadow Warrior game on sale? I need to get that game. That should be available on the... I gotta make sure I can find Shadow Warrior. It's probably not that great, but you know what? It's worth $5. This is what I'm talking about. See, some games for $5, you would never play them. Unless they were like $5 or less. So this one's definitely getting traded in. In fact, what's really fun is that there are some retro stores that won't even buy this game because they know how terrible it is. I mean, there are stores that I regularly go to that will not buy this game because they know it's garbage. Now, the fact that you could download, a patch that fixes the game would be great. I mean, the idea that all they had to do was lower the resolution, and I mean, I don't think that couldn't have been the only thing they did. But they lowered the resolution to 900p on the base Xbox hardware, and like I said, 30 FPS, this game runs perfectly fine. With the patch, but you need a fast internet. I don't know how big that patch is. But I swear to God, if the only thing you have to do is just lower the resolution, why not just let people do it on their own? Like on the PC, like I said, this game looks like it runs on a laptop. So if I had a laptop, I would just kind of I would lower the detail, I would lower the resolution, and everything would be fine. It's just, I gotta end the video here, but that's all you really need to know about this game. Don't buy this game unless you can somehow download a patch for it. Or unless you're somehow willing to put up with this frame rate. Again, it runs like an N64 game. So buyer beware. I did a series of videos on a Homefront Revolution. You get a chance to see how that game runs without a patch. The game's not too bad. This game is practically unplayable. It seems interesting. And I guess if if you've got an Xbox, if you're used to playing N64 games with frame rates this bad, I guess this is worth sampling. But I think you might want to hold off on this and just maybe get the PC version instead. At least then you have some control over how well the game runs.